If you are a Sopranos fan or a novice who hasn't even watched a single episode, the new podcast, Talking Sopranos, is the perfect entertainment. Stars Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa are breaking down each of the 86 episodes, and I'm so excited to get the inside scoop. Welcome, Michael. Congrats on the podcast, first of all. It's great for whether you're the super fan or you haven't even watched the show. It's just good entertainment.
Yeah, it's been really fun. We have 9 episodes in the can. We've released 3. They keep getting better as we get more relaxed and kind of get used to the format because we're pretty new, both Steve and I, to this format. But I'm having a good time.
Are you rewatching before you talk about the episode each time?
I haven't watched The Sopranos since the initial airing. So my process is I watch an episode, I take a lot of notes, and then look up stuff that I'm not sure about. If there's a guest star and I don't quite remember, and just do some research.
Yeah.
And then we record. And
how much fun has that been for you to kind of relive that whole experience? Because it was such a major part of your life, I have to imagine.
You know, it's bittersweet because some of the people are not with us anymore. You know, most notably James Gandolfini. But it's bittersweet, but I'll say it's more sweet than bitter.
Yeah. Well, in this process, have you learned anything that surprised you?
Well, how much we've aged has surprised me a bit. Actually, more shocked me than surprised me, but not much we can do about that.
We all have.
What I'm just reminded of is just how good the show is on every level: writing, directing, filmmaking, acting, performances. It's just people at the top of their game. And I also see how important it was to television, because I think it was the first TV show that brought a cinematic movie quality to TV.
Yeah, and the audience for that show was so vast. You couldn't pinpoint who would be your audience, I think, because it really was attractive to everyone.
No, you're right. I mean, it has like intellectual appeal to people who are into the psychology of it and the Dr. Melfi side. It has a working class appeal, people who grew up Italian American, people who didn't. One of the things that really led us to doing a podcast and that we never would have predicted is in the last 2 years, a whole other generation have discovered this show. I mean, I get late teens, 20s, 30s who were kids. They didn't watch it with their parents when it was on and are streaming it, however they stream it, and are obsessed with it. That's a testament to, I think, how good the show is.
Absolutely. It stands the test of time, as they say. In exploring this again, have you kind of thought back about your favorite episodes, maybe something you can't wait to talk about?
For me, my favorites that I was acting in, and then as a fan, I have my own favorites too. The Pine Barrens was pretty fun when Paulie and Christopher get lost in the woods. That was kind of a movie within a movie. That's a lot of happy memories because we were freezing terribly, but also had a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. And then as a fan, you know, there's an episode called Whitecaps where Tony and Carmela, their marriage is falling apart, really. You know, it's a really honest, raw portrayal of a marriage in crisis, and the acting and writing in those scenes are just as good as any ever.
I imagine you want the audience to take something away from this. And what do you think is going to surprise them most from listening to the podcast?
I think if they take anything away, it's the camaraderie, the friendships that were real. And that kind of translate to doing good work. It wasn't our idea. We were approached by some producers who knew that we had done some inside the actor's studio stage type things, and they liked what Steve and I had together. And we announced it at the end of February. Our plan was to record in a studio in New York the end of March, release in April. Middle of March, everything changed, and we said, let's wait till everything gets back to normal, hopefully. And then we got messages from fans who were saying, hey, we're quarantined, we're binging The Sopranos, where's our podcast?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to love this, but we also have loved seeing you this past season on Lincoln Rhyme, Hunt for the Bone Collector. I imagine that every show experience is different. So what was the experience like for Lincoln Rhyme?
Oh, this was a lot of fun. It was a bunch of actors that I didn't know that I became really good friends with right away. We just love the material. I love the character. I like his kind of world-weary veteran New York City cop who's seen it all, wisdom. We're waiting for the go-ahead that we'll get a season 2, but fingers are crossed,
Well, I know that you have a lot of big screen projects coming up too. What can fans expect?
I just did a movie called One Night in Miami, directed by the great actress Regina King. It's her first feature, and it's about Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X during Ali's conversion to Islam, and I play Muhammad Ali's trainer. And I have a film called Between Wars, an indie movie that'll come out later this year about PTSD. and a movie that's out right now called Cabaret Maxime, that's on-demand cable on iTunes and Amazon Prime, and has several Soprano cast members in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
We're making
I
it
hope
work.
you're staying safe and staying well, and thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
You too. Thanks for having me.